Divihi Rayitunge Democratic Party MDP ge heoedunta ehuntirinna raddukura. July ashakun diheka MDP ge matifemmargu afde India ge Chennai adi New Delhi ziyaret kureb. MDP ge team India kuri daturuga kurevi magandu masekkataki etage amilla jamia kamgawa Observer Research Foundation not ORF insam kuri de seminar ga bairive taqrir kurewuma sarkargu magan farataka badlu kurebu. India ziyaret kurevi MDP ge waftuga himeneni e party ge Waqti Rais Adi Naib Rais Ibrahim Hussain Zaki, Riyasi candidate Mohamed Nasheed Anni, parliamentary leader Adi Taatal Executive member Hassan Afif, ambassador Kirafa Ahmad Nasim Adi media manager Mohamed Zuhair. Mi program ga agunmen mi genesteni Chennai ga hunna Observer Research Foundation ga July nuwamandu oi mashwara matliv ga MDP ge Riyasi candidate Mohamed Nasheed Anni devi khitab. Adwasawada.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Satrimurthy. The Maldives actually is a very young country. 60% of the population is younger than me. 99% of them are younger than President Gayoom. I am very young, as I've been pointed out many times, but I do not necessarily feel deficient in age as such. By the time I was 20, I had already been tortured twice. President Gayoom is not a ruler that we have come to actually love throughout these years, but of course he has done a lot to the country. There are many changes that has come about during the tenure of his office, but then during that time, gentlemen like Mr. Zaki was also in the picture. Maldives and India goes back a long, long way. We were probably first populated by the Indian subcontinent. For my trip this time, the mother-in-law wants the latest Bajaj series and the wife wants the latest book by Amritav Ghosh. So, our relationship with India is very, very close. We watch Hindi films, we have Hindi actors, we read Indian books, Indian authors. Even our English language reading is very much so based on English language Indian writers. Our relationship and our connections and contacts goes a long, long way. The MDP, the Maldivian Democratic Party, was a party born as a reaction to suppression. We wanted freer methods, we wanted freedom, and we wanted democracy. We have been at it for a very long time. All throughout the last 20 years, we've been at times underground, at times out of the country, and other times in jail. But we have consistently been at it, and we have been able to come up with perhaps the only pluralistic or democratic movement in an Islamic country. It will be very difficult to find another homegrown democratic movement such as the MDP in an Islamic country. We feel that if this exercise can be successful in the Maldives, it actually can be successful in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, and many of the Middle East. Maldives in many ways is straddled in the middle of the Indian Ocean, so therefore we've had all the influences, all the Arabic influences, Middle Eastern influences, as well as all the Asian interactions. President Gayoom lived all his life in Egypt. He was very young when he went to Egypt, and he came back, and soon after he came back, he was foisted as president. So his socializing and his outlook to life was very Baathist in nature. There's an excellent section in his biography when Saddam Hussein and himself goes on a car ride in Baghdad. We've always wanted a more democratic and a pluralistic form, and therefore we've advocated for that. We believe that our security and stability is very much linked with India. There is no doubt about that. We have to continue our long-lasting relationship with India, and we have to see how we may strengthen them and how both countries can benefit from them. In this sense, we are alarmed, we are concerned by the present policies of the government, where large areas of the country are being rented out on long-term leases to many, many international concerns. More specifically, the northernmost atoll, the whole atoll is going to be leased to some Middle Eastern company for them to be doing a transshipment port or something or other. We don't think that this is quite necessary. I don't believe that the present regime also thinks that this is actually necessary, but they are having to do it for their short-term gains. They need the money. They need $100 million to $200 million instantly. So therefore, they want to sell this off and then get an upfront amount. You will remember last year the Indian government abridged our balance of payment and budget deficit by giving out $3-4 million. The country is again having balance of payment problems, and therefore they are in the process of renting out and giving out areas and chunks of the country. Now this is really quite unhealthy and unnecessary. We don't need to do that. We don't need that money either, and we could do without it. We are not saying that we will be insulated from international trade and international investments and so on, but to be continuously going into these areas without thinking, without debate, without discussion, and without the proper parliamentary processes of going about it, you know, where you have underhand deals and where it's all very hidden, and you never know, no one is aware of what is going on and who is signing what and what has been given to whom. Many times we've heard that the government is negotiating to give another atoll to the Chinese government as a submarine base. Now again, we do not know how far that this has reached and where it has gone. But these are concerns, you know, we especially with respect to China as in foreign policy. We can't have so much friendly relationship with that form of governance. Of course, we would like to have very good relationship with the people of China, but to welcome the Chinese Communist Party or that form of governance is very difficult, especially when we aspire for democratic forms. So in that sense, it's so much easier and it's so natural for us to have India as our natural ally and natural partner. It's a strange thing, you see. Indians might not realize this, but you might not be contributing to a higher level as much as we feel that how close we are to the Indians. Our relationship with India is perhaps unilateral. We are in love with India, and perhaps you're not. We like your books, we like your music, we like your culture, you know, we like India. And it might not be the same with the Indians. But I suppose this is very true with many countries and India, or many people and India. I find that this is very true with Maldivians. Most Maldivians who finish school would try to do a tour to India, would try to go on the train here, would try to see the films here, would try to buy books here. And I think this relationship would go on. In the past, most of our dissidents and deposed rulers also have a habit of spending their retirement life in Madras, especially in India. So, you know, we go back, as we say, a long way. None of the NDP policies would create any imbalance to the regional understandings, the Indian Ocean understandings, and we would like the Indian government to be more specific in what their interests and what their requirements and are in respect with the Indian Ocean policies. Mr. Naseem mentioned about trade relationships, about investments opportunities. We do have a lot of investment opportunities, especially in areas of housing, transport, health and energy. We are seeing, and we want to welcome this, we are seeing a renewed interest in renewable energy, and we think Maldives is very ripe for this. And we also have a lot of European and American